Hello everyone, welcome back. I haven't done a video like this in a while. I actually only done a video like this once before, like 4 months ago, where I read your God of War comments, and it's actually quite fun. I enjoy interacting with the community, reading you guys' suggestions, your theories, your complaints, sometimes even. And yeah, I'm actually quite excited. I'm actually gonna start off with the comments that are held for review, and the comments which are hidden, because those are often quite. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's go. Let's see what's held for review. The first comment held for review is from Cooking with Kratos, and it's a link to a video he's told me about, where he proves Odin is alive, and I've seen the video. It is quite convincing, but I'm not convinced. Actually, I commented a couple weeks ago as to why, I'm not convinced to the video. Let me just pull it up. Oh, he's commented recently to a comment, actually. No, he's replied to a comment on a video where I talk about what hell this Vinny is, what kind of creature he is. He replied to a comment by War God YouTube 1602, where he says that I am the greatest of all time with these theories. Thank you so much. Cooking with Kratos begs to differ, respectfully, of course. And he says that I am his guy. He misspelled my name, but that's fine. It's alright, no hard feelings. But yeah, here's a comment that I responded to a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually, and I saw his video, and I have to say I'm not convinced Mimir cannot be Odin, because we see Odin and Mimir in the same room multiple times. So how can Odin be two people at once? We also see fake Tyr, which is Odin in disguise, and Mimir together all the time. So how can Odin be disguised as two people at once? And he commented to this. He claims that I haven't watched the full video, which I actually did, and he says that Odin can be disguised as two people because of magic and his ravens. He says that the ravens are a part of him, and he got that from the fact that, when Odin raises his arms, when we first greet him at the cabin at the beginning of God of War Ragnarok, and the ravens kind of like fly into Odin's arms. So I think that's where he gets it from. He says that the ravens are like a part of him, so he can disguise himself as multiple people at once. And I don't quite agree with this, because as we know, Odin can only disguise himself as someone who's still alive. That's why he had Tyr trapped in a prison that was supposed to be in Asgard, but ended up being in Niflheim because the debris was scattered throughout the realms. Anyway, the prison that was supposed to be in Asgard ended up in Niflheim, and we find out that Odin has a bunch of people and elves and dwarves captured and imprisoned in his prison, so that he may disguise himself as these people. That's how he was disguised as Tyr throughout the whole game, because he kept Tyr alive in prison, and he was disguised as him. There's a small little dialogue between Freya and Kratos that confirms this. If I find it, I'll put it up, but I'll probably be too lazy and I will not.
Well, now we know what this prison's for. This is where Odin stashed those he would camouflage himself as.
Makes sense. If you're going to imitate someone, you wouldn't want them walking around.
Why not kill them?
He must need them alive in order to assume their form.
Aye. Odin likely wanted Tyr dead for a multitude of reasons, but he knew Tyr would be more useful alive.
Anyway, Mimir's dead. Like, even though he appears to be a living head, he is quite literally dead, and he does also assure us in God of War 2018 with a little a conversation between Kratos and Mimir and Atreus, I think, where he assures Atreus that he's very much dead. Even though he can still talk and appear as a living head, he is still very much dead. And also in God of War Ragnarok, when when Hildisvini is asking for Mimir's help so that Mimir can talk to the giant bird in Helheim, Helga, because Helga was not being responsive or cooperative, and so he felt that Helga might have been a little bit more supportive or cooperative if he was talking, or she, we don't know if Helga is a he or she, is talking to someone who's dead, something that's more familiar to it.
I have some doubts regarding negotiations with Rasvelger in Helheim. My thinking is that she may be more amenable to speaking with a member of the deceased. Mimir, you're needed.
Oh, death is a skill now. I suppose these two can survive a bit without me. Brother, if you wouldn't mind.
Very well. Many thanks. We'll catch up with you later.
So that's why, firstly, I think Mimir is not Odin, because Mimir is supposedly supposed to be dead. But your argument is that Mimir never died because he's actually Odin in disguise, and when we chopped his head off, he was still Odin in disguise. But if we chopped Mimir's head off while Mimir was Odin in disguise, let's say whatever he was, it was the Raven, which is supposed to be Odin in disguise, wouldn't the Raven be dead? It just doesn't make any sense. I know, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Maybe it's to you it makes sense, but I just don't see it. I don't know how you came to the conclusion that Odin has magic and ravens that allows him to disguise himself as more than one person at a time, even though in the game it's clear that it's not that easy. And if Odin wanted to disguise himself as Mimir, why wasn't Mimir in the prison where, you know, he kept everyone? You say, oh, he's still trapped in a tree because of the shrine in Jotunheim, because of the mural. It depicted Mimir still on a tree. But no, that was just depicting the events of God of War 2018 with the Hugin and Munnin Raven. So, I'm sorry, kicking with Kratos. There are feelings. I'm not quite convinced. I'm not saying your theory is wrong. No theory can be right or wrong. I don't see it. I'm sorry. Anyway, more helpful review comments. We have a comment on the birth of Christ and God of War finally revealed video where Helio7758 says, imagine Kratos fighting Satan, and when he's finished, Jesus appears and says, they forgive you. He sees his wife, daughter, mother, and brother Deimos. As the ashes fall off his skin, Kratos walks into the sunset to be a protector of God's people. He is finally at peace. That would be a really wholesome ending. I don't think that will ever happen, but that would actually be quite wholesome. Just imagine Kratos just finished off the Egyptian gods or something, and Jesus just pulls up, and wait, Kratos also kills Satan in this fanfiction, and then Jesus pulls up and he's like, dog, you're forgiven. Just rest easy, and he just walks off into the sunset. Why is this comment held for review? Like, I understand the cooking with Kratos comment because I had the link. Maybe that's why it was chucked into the health review. But maybe the replies. No, it's just this guy asking if he's. This guy is asking at Tommy Banner, who is not in the stream at all, if he's okay. Replying to the comment. Okay, whatever. Moving on. Joseph Shaban commented on why Kratos really lost his great powers, finally revealed video, saying, I think it's simply about them being forged with primordial flame. According to Surtur, it's universal, meaning it makes sense those blades would work anywhere. I don't think Surtur implied that they were universal. He only implied that primordial power is primordial power. So it didn't really matter where it comes from. So maybe, yeah. Actually, now I think about it, it might be universal. I just think Greece isn't quite dead, because I don't think the land is dead. I don't think it's gone, because we've seen depictions of Tyr visiting Greece after Kratos destroyed everything. We've seen depictions of the Greeks rebuilding Greece after Kratos destroyed everything. So I just don't think Greece is just dead. I think it's been restored, and that's why the blades are actually still running. I don't think all his Greek powers are dead. I think why Kratos can't use his Greek powers, like, I don't know, that lightning thing Poseidon gave him, or Zeus's thunderbolts, is because he doesn't have the blue orbs. It's just so simple. I just feel like they're canon. Anyway, someone commented, user SZ6UM7XJ6U. I'm just not gonna say the usernames anymore. I'm just gonna say this guy commented, and then I'm gonna show it on screen. He says, Kratos doesn't get weaker with age, he only gets stronger with age. He's also holding back, he's avoiding trying to revert to his old self. Holding back all the anger and strength can be tiresome. That's exactly what I say in my video. That's literally what I say. Greek gods get stronger as they age, and Kratos, the only time he shows signs of weakness is because he's holding back. Like, imagine you're anxious or stressed about something and you're holding back all this frustration. You're gonna be not as focused. You're gonna panic. you don't want to fail. Just like how Kratos is holding back his anger because he doesn't want to fail, he doesn't want to revert to his old self. So it must be tiresome holding all this in all the time. And when you release a little bit of that, it doesn't even make you feel better. It just makes you feel worse and even more tired. Your mental health also affects your physicality. I'm not a doctor, but from my experience, I know. For me, that happens. So I'm sure it also happens for a lot of people as well. Audio 7807 replied to a video, "Why does Kratos age?" video. He says, "It's quite scary if the whole Greek gods get stronger with age is true, which I believe it is due to Corey's statement on Twitter. Zeus, Poseidon, Kronos, basically all the gods before Kratos was even born for pretty old, probably thousands of tens of thousands of years old. Imagine how powerful Kratos would be if his father's age, if he was his..." Okay, there's a lot of punctuation errors in there, but I think what he's saying is, Corey stated on Twitter that, gods get older, and the proof for this is, when the gods such as Zeus, Poseidon, not Zeus managed to avoid that, but like Poseidon, Hades, Hera, when they were swallowed by their father Kronos and they lived inside Kronos' belly until they were like pretty much adults. When they came out, they were much stronger than even the Titans, which is like proof that the gods grow stronger as they age. And he's saying it would be quite scary to see Kratos super old, like Zeus's age or even Kronos' age, and he thinks it would be absolutely crazy how strong Kratos would be if he was that age. I think that's the vibe I'm getting. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for the held for review comments. Now let's move on to the hidden comments, which should be even more intriguing. Okay, the first comment was on a video called "The Origin of the Mask Finally Revealed," and Justin says, "You sound like you got autism or something." Okay. I don't think I have autism. I'm quite confident I don't. I've never been diagnosed with autism, but yet again, I never went to check because I had no reason to. But yeah, I guess I sound like I have autism. I don't know why though. Choco Latte replied to the Mystery Behind the Blades video saying, "Are you tired? Oh well, I will unsubscribe." And then he put a slur after that. Even though it's misspelt, I assume he tried to avoid the comment being deleted or something, and he failed because it did end up being in the hidden section. I don't recall sounding tired in that video. I'm not sure why he would unsubscribe, even if I was tired, and I don't know why he's so mad. Mr. Sir Guy Teriyak 9542 commented on the video Kratos could have saved his family but didn't, saying, "Might want to blur those titties so you can keep the monies." Thankfully that video has not been age restricted, but yeah, thank you for your concern. Slap Titties 2775 commented on the Mystery Behind the Blades finally revealed, saying, "There is no mystery. Read a book." I don't understand why reading a book would help me. Even if there is no mystery, why would I read a book? I don't quite understand that. But Warden 3981 replied to Slap Titties 2775 saying, "You are so stupid. Watch the whole vid, finish, you kid, and after take your advice and read a book." Warden, it's okay. I don't think he meant any disrespect, but thank you for defending me. Mobun Ga, the voice of Resistance 801, said, he replied to the video The Birth of Christ and God of War Finally Revealed, saying, "This is stupid. Stupid as fuck." And Bald Bull, oh, that is such an evil comment. Why would he say that? I'm not even going to say it out loud. I'm just going to move on. Okay, Dr. Gans 8343 said, I'm not going to read that as well. Chase Manhattan 9995 commented on the video saying, "Thor better not be in the Pleroma. That abusive fat bastard is not worthy of a place of honor." I agree. I think Thor has done too much damage, and he's caused so much violence and hatred. I don't think he deserves to be in a place of honor. Even if he had a change of heart at the end for his daughter, I don't think I don't see it. Alright. The rest of the comments are pretty much the same. Just really mad people for some reason. Let's just go back to the normal comments, I guess. Roman al-Sibehi 3099 commented on what is Haldesvini finally revealed video saying متى لعبت God of War أول مرة, which translates to when did you play God of War, was it for the first time? This is my dad. I'm pretty sure my dad owns this account and he knows I played God of War. I played God of War. When did I play God of War? We were in the same house when I played God of War. It was like I played it when it came out in November. Yeah, it was the first time. I only played God of War Ragnarok once. I'm waiting for New Game Plus to come out so that I could play again. Alright. GamerVid1257 commented on Garm's true identity and connection to the mask finally revealed video saying, a really, really good theory, but weren't the giants the only ones that could remove souls? I don't think the giants are the only ones that could remove souls. I just think the giants are the ones that know how to, understand how to. They were very familiar with that. But I don't think it's like a specific power. And if anything, the Demiurge should have, like, probably is one of the most powerful beings out there. He probably has that ability to do such a thing. He might have even been the being that taught the giants how to remove a soul from a body in the first place. Alright, Young Turtle 5586 replied, I want a story where we play as adult Atreus to see how it changes from where he learned, and I'd like how Athena would start messing with Atreus and giving him a weapon that would look like the blade of Olympus, and have him fight a copy of his father, and Atreus learns from what he experiences with the blade and how he is shown into the way his father ended up doing and being where he is. I don't quite fully understand what he's saying, but I think he's trying to say it would be cool if we see like a game with old Atreus fighting like an illusion of younger Kratos with the blade of Olympus. That would be really cool. I don't know how it would be integrated into the game in a smooth and immersive way, but if it does happen and they sounds like it could pull it off, that would be amazing. That's actually one of my few critiques of God of War Ragnarok, is that there wasn't a lot about Greek. Like in God of War 1, we saw Athena. Not 1, I mean God of War 2018. We saw Athena. There was the vase with Kratos, and there was like, there's a few like subtle but cool hints as to Kratos' past. Like even the Zeus fight in Helheim, which wasn't really a fight, but it was like a memory. That was all really cool. We barely get any of that in Ragnarok, which sucks. Saleh Yusuf 3800 commented on the truth behind Odin's obsession video saying, انت صاحب القناة الأذكى في التحليل من وجهة نظري، اخترقت قناة كابتن كيوبا وقناة جون، استمر يا صاحب العقل اللامع. Wow, you're gonna make me blush, Saleh. Thank you. He says that I pretty much have a better channel than Captain Cuba and John Ford. I'll probably translate it later, but that's such a cool comment. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. YoKyle4356 commented on the Garm's True Identity video saying, I may have to watch this a couple of times. You lost me during the middle when you're talking about 3 wolves. Is there some kind of time travel shenanigans? There isn't any time travel shenanigans. Basically what I'm saying is, you understand how when we met Garm in Helheim as Atreus, Garm is a giant wolf, and he has no soul, which is indicated by his white eyes, something that the game established during Atreus' time in Ironwood. We see that animals with no soul are depicted to have white eyes. They literally have no white eyes. No, they have white eyes. So when we meet Garm in Helheim, the first thing we should note is that he has no soul. It's a giant wolf with no soul. That's the first thing. And the second thing I want to say is that we know that Garm eventually becomes Fenrir, which was the wolf Atreus adopted at the beginning of the game. Initially, Fenrir... I keep hitting the mic, sorry. Initially, Fenrir was just a normal, regular old wolf. Atreus stumbled upon a wolf in the wild, he adopted it because he liked the wolf. He adopted the wolf as his own and called this random wolf, this regular old random wolf, Fenrir. That's it. At the beginning of God of War Ragnarok, Fenrir, the regular old wolf, dies. And as Atreus mourns the death of his wolf, he accidentally removes the soul of Fenrir from the body. And we know that in Norse mythology, souls have 4 parts. 3 of the 4 parts manage to disperse off, probably going to the light of Alfheim, while one of the soul parts ends up inside of Atreus' knife. That's pretty clear. Now we have Fenrir's soul, the regular old wolf Fenrir's soul in the knife. So, when we try to defeat Garm in Helheim in God of War Ragnarok, and Garm is undefeatable, to try and tame the wolf, what does Atreus do? He places Fenrir's soul into Garm, and Garm then becomes Fenrir. So that's how Garm turns from being a soulless giant wolf into a tame, friendly wolf, which is known as Fenrir, who's known as Fenrir. So Garm goes from soulless giant wolf to tame, friendly wolf, Fenrir. Very simple transition, because Fenrir, his soul was put into Atreus' knife at the beginning of the game, because Fenrir was just an old standard wolf. I have to emphasize that. But before Fenrir was Fenrir, he was Garm, and Garm had no soul. So who was Garm before Garm was Garm? Because Garm has no soul. So who was he before he was Garm? Who took Garm's soul? Easy. Before Garm was Garm, Garm was Hrufnir. When Garm had a soul, before his soul was taken away, he was a wolf known as Hrufnir, which is the father of Skal and Hati. So, first it was Hrufnir. Hrufnir got his soul taken away, and that's how he became Garm, the vicious, soulless creature in Helheim. Garm then had a soul put into him, Fenrir's soul, and that's how Garm became Fenrir. That's the timeline. That's why people still believe Fenrir is the father of Skanhati, because Fenrir, before he was Fenrir, he was Hrufnir. And Garm, some of the stories of Garm, like how Garm was imprisoned, are similar to the stories of how Fenrir was imprisoned. Tyr had his arm, in the mouth of Garm to trick him, and when they trapped him, he bit Tyr's arm off, but Tyr's arm grew back. So that's it. That's all I had. I explain it much easy. I can't even speak. I explain it better in the video, but I hope that clears a few things up. Anyway, this video has gone way longer than I thought it would. 32 minutes. Yeesh. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, do leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. I'm gonna put a link to every comment I reply to so they can see this video. I feel like they're not gonna see this video otherwise. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more content like this. And yeah, see ya. Bye.